Good morning, ladies and gentlemen in the room with me, and ladies and gentlemen online. It's a real pleasure to be with you this morning. Let me first welcome the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, CDMP, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security. Great pleasure and honor to have you with us this morning, Dr. Chang. And let me welcome also the High Commissioner of India to Jamaica, His Excellency Rangsang Masakui. Thank you very much for being with us, Your Excellency. I think we have online our High Commissioner Designate for Jamaica to the Republic of India, His Excellency Jason Hall, the Ambassador of Jamaica to the United States of America, Her Excellency Audrey Marks, Senator the Honorable Aubin Hill, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. And we have, of course, Professor Dale Weber, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mona Campus, and Dr. Winston Delahaye, Adjunct Lecturer, UWI, Mona, who is representing Dr. Tomlin Paul, Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences at UWI, Mona. Let me also welcome, I believe, online, Dr. Patrick Prendergast, Director of the UWI Western Jamaica Campus. And in the room with us, of course, Dr. Guna Mupuri, President and CEO of the BioPrist Group, and Mrs. Mupuri, who is Vice President of the BioPrist Group. Other specially invited ladies and gentlemen, a warm good morning and greeting from me. It's really a pleasure to be here to welcome you all this morning, to witness the signing by the BioPrist Group and the University of the West Indies Mona Campus of a Memorandum of Understanding concretizing their partnership to expand and improve medical education and medical tourism in Jamaica. Yes, you heard that right, medical tourism. Both the UWI and the BioPrist Group have strong brand recognition ideal for this partnership. The UWI has an established medical school since 1948 with an impeccable reputation for training high-quality physicians, nurses, and other health professionals. And the BioPrist Group, a conglomerate of diversified sectors, primarily in healthcare-related industries and pharmaceuticals. This group has a local independent subsidiary that some of you may know of as Indies Pharma Limited, listed on the Jamaican Stock Exchange. This brand recognition of two known and well-recognized, well-respected brands will be leveraged towards attracting international students and patients, to expand options for training beyond medical students, and open opportunities for the UWI's established medical school to expand its reach. The unique selling proposition of cooperation is that it will offer US, UK, and Caribbean accredited programs in state-of-the-art facilities that are offshore and nearshore to the major target markets. Ladies and gentlemen, this mutually beneficial symbiotic relationship is what we call a match made in heaven. The overall objective is for the BioPrist Group to build to suit, operate, and promote the Grand Ridge Medical City, a healthcare and wellness-focused special economic zone designated in Montego Bay, Jamaica. The campus will accommodate the Anchor BioPrist Institute of Medical Sciences, an independent subsidiary of the BioPrist Group, which is leveraging the expertise of various local and international universities, namely the UWI, to host respective satellite campuses with accredited programs in the fields of medicine, chiropractic, nursing, dentistry, and other healthcare professions. This integrated healthcare zone will also accommodate up to a 300-bed teaching and research hospital providing medical tourism services. JAMPRO is excited about this initiative as it checks all our boxes: expansion of Jamaica's offering as a medical tourism destination, development of offshore medical school offerings, and expansion and diversification of the local special economic zone locations. all of which translates into economic development, foreign and local direct investment, and jobs. That's what JAMPRO is about. Jamaica already has an outstanding reputation for tourism and is recognized globally for excellence in hospitality. Developing the medical aspect of tourism through investment bolsters this industry by recognizing that Jamaica has a number of competitive advantages. Our world-class medical professionals, our geographic location in proximity to other countries like North America, and our infrastructure, a number of private inpatient hospitals and health and wellness facilities which have a high standard of health care. Jamaica is uniquely positioned to be successful in this fast-growing global medical tourism industry that had a market size valued at $44.8 billion in 2019 and is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 21.1%, taking it to $207.9 billion by 2027. Additionally, the demand for doctors simply cannot be met by North American schools alone. Offshore medical universities offer students seeking to practice medicine in the North American market another route to accomplish this, with factors favoring the Caribbean, including close proximity to the US, lower tuition costs, language similarity, and accredited programs, among others. Offshore medical universities also provide economic benefits to the host country through student expenditure requirements. So it is really, really a pleasure to be here and to witness the signing of this MOU today. We have a short program for you this morning. We're going to hear from Dr. Mupuri, who is going to deliver his overview. We'll then hear from Professor Dale Weber, who is the Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies Mona campus. And then we will finish up with the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security. So without more ado, I'm going to ask Dr. Mupuri, who is the President and CEO of BioPrist Institute of Medical Sciences, to give us his remarks. Dr. Mupuri.
Good morning, Jamaica. And that's the best way I believe we must start our day with. Madam President Diane Edwards, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak at this forum. First of all, let me welcome Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang. It's a very long way of me addressing for the first time at a public podium, sir. I will say, it's my dear sir. Before I speak of anybody else, I must tell my bond with our Honorable Deputy Prime Minister. This is a very momentous occasion, sir. It's a father and son relationship where I continue to hold your hand and you walk me through. There's a good reason why I'm saying this. I'll explain to you later on what it means. And then, Your Excellency, Mr. Masuki, the High Commissioner of India, and our good friend, and our ambassador, our High Commissioner in India, Mr. Jason Hall, my mentor in the business, Senator Aubin Hill, and Madam Ambassador, Mr. Ari Marks, and other regulatory agencies, presidents and CEOs who are participating online. And last but not least, but very important, Professor Weber, the principal of UV, and Dr. Winston Delahaye. We both go a very long way back. Can you believe we used to sit lunch and eat lunch together at doctor's quarters when we were interns at KPH? That was in 1992. Today we are at this place, recreating the history again, but with wearing different hats. I do not know what to say at this moment because Madam President has said everything what we have to say. In the interest of time, I would like to keep it very short but very emotional. I came here in 1992. I have seen how the country has changed and progressing. Jamaica is always ready for business. Thank you, Jam Pro. The way how you facilitate, how you coordinate. Don't let anybody think that you are coming to Montego Bay to spend a night or 2 nights. You're not coming to relax. Nobody knows they are there always doing business. This initiative wouldn't have been happening today if it was not for President Diane Edwards, who came and sat at my home. Remember in 2016, right? With other members of UCJ that let's do something very creative when we acquired the 2 jockey factories, and the rest is a history. There's also another moment I can recall today. Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority. The team came, they spent meeting all the stakeholders. Everything happened at a luncheon, where they said that you can do something, healthcare, research in Montego Bay. Do something. Then I came back to my mentor or father, whatever you call, our Honorable Deputy Prime Minister. Sir, we have this parcel of land, very attractive, but I do not know what to do. All he said is, where is it? Let's go, let's look at it. We looked on a big Google Earth and everything. He said, go for it. First, go for it, then something will come up. Sir, that's Grand Ridge today. That's what we presented at the webinar. And within less than a week, we are here today with our University of West Indies to sign this MOU. There's another bond I need to relate, emotional bond, like how I have with Dr. Chang, with University of West Indies. There's always a saying, when you're growing as a kid, the mother will let you walk all your steps. That was me in 1992 when I started my career as a young intern at the University of West Indies, at the hospital. Whatever the knowledge I learned, it made me today what I am here today. The knowledge that has been given to me by the stalwarts of the medical fraternity. I recall Professor Archibald MacDonald, our head of surgery department. I sailed with every one of the stalwarts of medical fraternity when I was an intern, both at UV and KPH and everywhere. When this fire in the belly started as an entrepreneur, first thing my delivery was to be, I wanted to deliver to the common man affordable drug at an affordable cost. That's how Indies Pharma has taken its birth. While ago at the traffic light, I just mentioned to my dear wife, Vishnu, she's sitting there. All this fire started in 2003 when we went to India. Let's start a medical school. We went home, spent a vacation, summer vacation there, and said, why India? India has everything there. Jamaica needs something. Build a state-of-the-art hospital. Build a state-of-the-art medical school to complement UV. It will make a difference to the society. Thank you, Vishnu, for the inspiration. And coming back to my mother, who taught me medicine, University of West Indies. Today I am grown up. I can walk, I can run, like Usain Bolt today. But I see my mother is getting aged. My mother needs help. Because you're controlled, there are so many regulations. How we can partner. We could have gone a couple of years back, but I said, no, I'm not making one more step without UV. Unless UV says no, then I'll make further partnerships with other universities. Today, I'm a grown-up kid to the mother. I want to walk with my mother, University of West Indies. Let's carry together. I consider you like Google or Microsoft. Allow me to consider myself as Tesla. Just imagine the combination of the Google and Microsoft and Tesla. This is what I want to bring to the table on this maiden voyage, where we want to bring technology to the table. We want to bring, with COVID, we learned a lot. This has caused enormous amount of devastation, not just to you call it any economy. Within our area of focus, look at the healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, other professionals who have lost their lives. So let's replace them. Let's replace our professionals there in that place. And this is where now with COVID, with all these things, let's take education to the doorstep of students. You don't have to come to the campus, but we can bring the campus to the doorstep. We can subsidize the cost. We can increase the quality of education. This is what all about a combination of BioPrest, a private sector entity with the regional entity, University of West Indies. This is going to be a historical partnership between a private sector entity and a public sector entity, a typical PPP model in the field of healthcare. So this is our contribution to the nation, to our economic growth during this pandemic time. And I must also commend the government of Jamaica, the initiatives you have taken, the measures you have put in place, the way how we contained the disease. On the other side, my motherland is facing the heat of it. On this side, my adopted mother's land, we have contained it so very well. I really have to commend the initiatives you have taken and the way how we manage this disease. As you continue to manage the disease, it's our responsibility to contribute to the economy. We will want to rejuvenate the economy. And I'm sure with this initiative, we're going to open the doors for the bigger picture, the sleeping giant medical tourism. From this combination, we'll progress to that combination, granted Medcity, which is going to be your baby, sir. I'm going to place all these babies in your hand. And thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much, Madam President, and the Diplomatic Corps, and all my well-wishers for giving me this opportunity to perform. I'm sure I will deliver it in a record-breaking time. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mupuri, for sharing that very personal journey with us. That's really very inspiring, and I hope other entrepreneurs have been listening to what Dr. Mupuri has said and to his journey. Now let us hear from Professor Dale Weber, who is the Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies Mona campus. I don't think he needs any introduction. Professor Weber is a professor in his own right and has had a long and distinguished career at the university. And now we are very pleased to hear from him on this new initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Edwards, President of JAMPRO, Dr. Horace Chang, Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament and the owner of this constituency, Senator Auburn Hill, Minister without portfolio in the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, His Excellency, Mr. Mazuki, High Commissioner of India to Jamaica, and His Excellency Jason Hall, High Commissioner of Jamaica to India, Ms. Audrey Marks, our High Commissioner, our Ambassador to the US, Dr. Mupuri and Mrs. Mupuri, Dr. Patrick Prendergast, our Director of Western Jamaica Campus, and I will say a few words there in a few moments, and Dr. Winston Delahaye, who is representing the Dean, but he's also here in his own right. He's the Deputy Dean for International Student Affairs in the Faculty of Medical Sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, good morning to you all. I'm pleased to be here in my capacity as Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies to sign a memorandum of understanding with BioPrest Group, a relationship that we think will take us very far. As you know, the Faculty of Medical Sciences is the flagship of the UWI. It is where we started 72 years ago. Yes, the mother has taught you to walk, and now we will run together. We started with just 33 students. Look how we've grown. But it is time to grow again. The vision of BioPrest and the activities of the UWI will present to us a nation's health opportunity for us to support the nation as it grows. The health of our people is central to our relevance and our regional success. Creating good medical facilities and good training is important in being a successful country. Nursing is an important part of the delivery. So is dentistry. So is pharmacology. So are doctor's assistants. We see a relationship which is just going to do not just the MBBS program, but so many parts to the medical facility so that we will be able to grow as a country, a region, and make a representation. The University of the West Indies has always wanted to have its footprint well established in Montego Bay. It is clear that our Western Jamaica campus has grown from strength to strength. We've always wanted to do a medical program there. We've had parcels of land that we've tried to develop, and we've decided, yes, this is the right partnership to take us there because you have a vision that is beyond some of the minute scales that we would have started at. So it appears the child is about to outrun the parent. Our motto, access, alignment, and agility, those are our AAA strategy, allows us through this relationship and this MOU to greater access for students to medical facilities, but also access to medical training and medical services within the Montego Bay and Western Jamaica. It's also an excellent alignment between academia and industry, where together we will make a partnership which will allow us to train, continuously retrain, and expand our procedures. And then with agility, by using technology, we'll be using simulation wherever possible to enhance the multiplier effect so that whether it's in dentistry or nursing and the MBBS program, we'll be able to take advantage of all the opportunities that are available, not just in Jamaica, but globally using technology in our transfer. It is clear to us that this partnership is one that will allow both organizations to grow. Technology-driven solutions are the key to the next step in a tertiary institution, as well as a medical profession and a technology-driven sector, such as you run, Dr. Mapuri. The UWI is already certified when it comes to the CAM-HP, and we would like to continue this accreditation. We're looking forward to the partnership allowing us to get some of those pieces of the puzzle in place to maintain that, even as we grow together. BioPrist is prepared, and the UWI Mona campus is prepared. With the support of JAMPRO and the government of Jamaica, I'm sure that in no time, I'm sure we'll be celebrating the opening of the Grand Ridge Medical City. Montego Bay will be a better place, and Western Jamaica will have its own large mega hospital space. We look forward to the partnership and growing together. Thank you all, and good morning.
Thank you very much, Professor, for those words. A very exciting opportunity for Western Jamaica. So I think it is really fitting for us to hear from the man from Western Jamaica, well, the man from Western Jamaica, the Honorable Dr. Horace Chan, our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security. It's a real honor to ask you to address us this morning, Dr. Chan.
Thank you, President Dan. I'm here in both capacities that I serve today, and I serve it. I won't tell you to look behind for the other cap, right? Because they're coming together in a PPP relationship of JAMPRO, of UWI, and BioPrist, a major activity. So, President, thank you very much for having me this morning as your Deputy Prime Minister, but I'm also the Member of Parliament for a part of Montego Bay. High Commissioner, His Excellency, High Commissioner from India, the name slips me sometimes. Pleasure to have you this morning. I understand my colleague, Senator Auburn Hill, and Minister in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is somewhere out there online. I have to get used to this virtual thing, you know. Try to address them wherever they are. So to my good friend, Ambassador Audrey Marks up in Washington, who is always seeking to bring new ideas and new investment to Jamaica. And I understand our newly appointed ambassador to India, Ambassador Jason Hall, is also online out there somewhere. Good to have with us. But I have to recognize in the room the principal actors. First, my friend and fellow resident of the city of Montego Bay, Dr. Mapuri, and his dear wife. A long-standing friend and someone who has done not only done well, but for himself, but for the country and the community of Western Jamaica, and I'll comment on that further. Of course, Professor Dale Weber and his team from the university, current Pro-Vice Chancellor and Principal of the Mona campus. Good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to be here this morning, and a real pleasure to join this entire team. And if I take two minutes, or 1 minute to a little bit, because I've watched all of these institutions grown from very early on. If I start the university, I recall very distinctly, one day, sometime back, I won't go too far, Dr. Leahy, when in fact, it's ironic, I had gotten a job coming from Cornell where I had wended my way through the course of physics, chemistry, zoology, and botany about at that time. And I got a letter from NCB principal, however, that I was formally appointed staff member of the Montgomery branch. Of course, I took it home to lunch where my aunt was, but she was waiting with another letter. And I had this thing, I get a letter that indicated that having sat the UWI exam, I was now awarded the UWI Open Scholarship, which gave me option to enter any of the faculties I so choose. So I went back to the accountant at the bank and indicated, well, look, I can do medicine. Everybody's trying to do medicine. I've got an open scholarship. At the time, of course, UW accepted, I think, about 33 Jamaicans. They had moved from 33, I said 33 Jamaican students. The faculty was taking about 100 medical students. And they have certainly grown. You're not only the flagship of the university, but you're one of the finest medical schools in the Western Hemisphere. Established a strong reputation in research and clinical medicine. And grown today, we're accepting well over 100 Jamaican students. And I've seen it growing in that direction. On the other hand, I left university, however, while enjoying medicine. At that time, I think the practicing public health had taken a kind of a high in many ways. Some of it has not been retained. I think it was coming after a famous conference in Almaty, I think in Kazakhstan, to look for to lay some new targets for public health care and achievements in primary care. And a number of us went straight to the public health. And I wended my way to Hanover, where I worked and then got the public health, which the doctor may not like to say, but a large part of public health is politics. And I ended up being from medical officer of health in Trelawney, in Hanover, and ended up in politics. And when I got into office, again, early 80s, my prime minister said to me, you want investment out there? Go sit in JAMPRO and have this. And I ended up being the kind of Batman around John, if I put it that way. I was a young MP, still very early. And JAMPRO president constituted 3 people. That was JAMPRO in the early 80s. Ms. Corinne McClarty, her secretary, and her assistant, who was out there at the time, I think Ms. Carnegie, and one of the lady Ms. Hales, I think it was 3. And I would go in the JAMPRO office and sit with them, and we started to meet all kind of prospective investors. And of course, at the time, investment promotion was not something that was popular or well-liked, and therefore Ms. McCarthy would have me meeting as the Member of Parliament, all manner of people want to invest in Jamaica. And we got something going in Western Jamaica, including the jockey in Hanover, which came to another coincidence, I said. And it's a great experience. I learned a lot there and went on and persisted in public life despite of the challenges. And we went through some challenging times, and professionally, the medical field had its own challenges. When I went to Hanover, there was a single physician for the whole parish. One person in the hospital, and myself in private care. And of course, Dr. Gante left, and we were left with 2 of us. Well, 1 for a while, and then 2. And later on, of course, a young physician from India. And most of the young physicians were getting to go rural all over Jamaica were coming from India. At the time, India hadn't acquired, despite the challenges they faced today, and they are the giant in medical services. India is maybe one of the largest pharmaceutical producers in the globe. And they have established themselves as having some of the finest scientists in medicine. In fact, some time ago, I think, through the Indian Technical Institutes, they were setting out to train 100,000 biotechnologists annually. And setting to dominate, in many ways, they have dominated software engineering through, although Silicon Valley is a name we know, a lot of the scientists and the engineers in software development hail from India. And they decided to move into the biotechnology area. And I've done extremely well and demonstrated that. But back then in the 80s, early 90s, we were still seeing young Indians migrating from India to come to Jamaica, learn to speak English well, although English is what they do their education. Although Hindi, they're all educated and they speak English, but they come here, smooth out the English, spend some time in the medical circle here, got through the ECFMD and the other North American exams, and head north. A young doctor came to Hanover, met him, and we became friends, and that's all he did. I showed him respect, he showed me respect. That's how we started, literally. No favors done, especially. Just met a young doctor who was serving the people in a parish I had a lot of link with, came west. But he didn't look to go north. He stayed here in Jamaica, and he built himself a business based on healthcare. Successful business, going depth it, very successful. Part of his company, the Biopris Group, has in this farm business, the stock market. What was remarkable about Dr. Marpuri and his wife, I said, they're not looking out. He has invested all his returns in Jamaica, even more so than some of our Jamaican friends and Jamaican native are here who oftentimes, and naturally, we are still a developing country, and it's not unusual that big business will not only spread their wings in a region, but also lay some kind of home connection elsewhere, that if things go wrong, as we have had the history of flying out, so to speak. But I've never heard Dr. Murphy ever speak about looking for a kind of fallback somewhere. As Sven now, the redundancy in terms of what he's doing. He has invested, continuously reinvested in Jamaica in a manner that is very peculiar to Biopris. You know, I have many friends in that side, and I've said before, Montego Bay itself has been outstanding in its entrepreneurial spirit. Much of the large companies in the last 30 years have evolved out of Montego Bay. Kingston, as we have seen growth by the Kingston corporations, from Grace Kennedy to the Muslim groups have absorbed and expanded, and all the other brand names in the corporate area and finances. But in terms of innovation and new companies, they emerged from Montego Bay. In resort attraction, the Chucker Group, commercial, you have seen CPJ expand to challenge the big guys in Kingston. Construction, we have several, you know, I think the Cascade Group growing. We have seen Rainforest number, and in all this, Biopris was there, and has grown, established its medical service industry and pharmaceutical side, but have reinvested in the region. I stand here, not only he's acquired property and is looking at Grand Ridge Medical City through his Hans Medicine Health, for his Medical and Sciences Institute. He went and took up the two old jockey factories in Lucy, which came early days. They were sitting there for years. Literally nobody wanted to do them. They were two warehouse type plants. I said we came early on when I had the experience with Jampro, got jockey to establish two institutions out there, employing well over 1,000 Hanoverians. After the garment sector went down, they were there sitting, not sure what would happen to them, and they were just big warehouse space in a small town which does not attract investment. Montego Bay is a hub that you can speak to. You know, we have a multi-purpose port, cruise shipping, cargo, home porting. We have the largest airport, one of the largest in the Caribbean, if not the largest, and certainly in Jamaica, and the center of tourism coming onto the North Coast. So Montego Bay is a hub that attracts investment. You don't get that kind of attraction for Lucy, a small town. The beaches are nice down the road, so you may get hotel investment and villas. But Dr. Mowbray went and acquired the jockey plant. Then he acquired the other one in Sandy Bay as well, which is an even smaller town just outside of Mobile. And he has not yet settled his plans on Lucy or in the continent investment, but already built out the Sandy Bay plant, had it functioning not only as a commercial center for himself, but it now employs several hundred people as one of the outsourcing center in the West. And he's continuously looking at investing in things, in the opportunities around Montego Bay. And Grand Ridge is a part of it. He went and acquired property on the north side of Montego Bay, which others were just driving past. and is now converting into, as seen in that picture, a fine office facility which can be a medical center with other lands around it for continued development. I've seen his dreams for these things, but when you talk to Dr. Morpuri and he outlines his plans and you say his dreams, he converts to reality. He just keeps going. In fact, what I have to do is try and temper him sometime because business is going. And I know, which is wonderful wife from there, say, hold the pace a little bit. Because like everything else in life, you don't want anything to, things happen like COVID-19, you get a little stumble here or there. So you have to make sure your foundation won't shake. Because he's always moving. One purpose, growing, right there. A lot of it, not in Jamaica, but also in Montego Bay. They're jumping up opportunities, and sometimes others look on and wonder why, but they're there sitting, and they've done so. And given what's going to happen in Montego Bay, I have no doubt he has made his decisions will, in fact, give him the appropriate return because he deserves to get an outstanding return on this kind of investment. But there are things, I said, opportunities which others did not see, or could not see, or did not choose to want to see. But he had looked at them, seen the opportunity, and investing here in Jamaica and in Montego Bay. The work of we not only welcome this as a government, encourage it and facilitate it, and to what extent I can do was a local leader and part of the national team, my job to see that business entrepreneur like Dr. Morpuri is facilitated to pursue their development. In terms of Montego Bay, it is good to mention the Perimeter Road coming up nearby. In fact, the Perimeter Road, which has been talked about now for about 15 years. And I was there at the very beginning, again, this one, designed to create a fast link between what is the north and south of Montego Bay. Montego Bay is in the north coast, but it's actually, like a dog-leg shaped area geographically of Jamaica. And the north side is where the airport is located, and the south is Freeport. Freeport has grown and expanded, and Montego Bay is south and the Barnett Estates, and attracted quite a bit of investment, as they have been the center of entrepreneurial development. But the airport is poised to provide the other link, which is both international and local. You'll be able to get to Freeport in 10 to 15 minutes, even at reasonable driving. The 4-lane highway is a 14-kilometer road, so if you drive at 50 kilometers an hour, you do it in 15 minutes. It now takes anywhere from 45 to an hour and a half when traffic is heavy. So it will ensure easy movement. The planners speak of the travel infrastructure as the circulatory system of a country. If your arteries and veins are running, so if your circulation is running well, you're healthy. If you start getting obstruction, then you get problem. You can lose part of your body. If you take off the circulation to your leg, you lose it. That's just reality. But if everything is running smoothly and it's healthy, even at our old age, we can move faster, Doctor. And try to keep up with Dr. Morpuri. So the north side of Montego, where Dr. Morpuri has been moving to establish his medical facilities, is right beside the airport. It's the other hub. The shipping hub is on the south, Freeport, cruise ships, home porting, commercial activity will all come through there. But the airport offers itself, it's a short hop from North America. Any investor can fly in, students can fly in, they get off the plane and they can be into a fine facility in less than 5 minutes. That's how near it is. And all levels, you can attract the big business people who may want to come to do business or to look at a professor who wants to visit the university. They can get off at a private jet center and be there in 2-3 minutes. And you can be in and out like that. So it is an ideal location, strong location. Our plans for infrastructure development enhances that, and we look forward to further developments. But at this point, I'm very pleased to see BioPris has taken the lead, and I'm confident they'll be successful, and we give all the support that we can. It's good to have the university here, teaming up with a young, dynamic, entrepreneurial company, but entrepreneurial service sector that we tend to avoid, education. one of the largest areas for investment in the globe today. But we need to keep educating people. We need to keep training. The rate of change is almost frightening. What used to take 50 years, it would take less than 5 years, and what used to take 5 years, take in 5 months. It's an ongoing change. I tell you, I'm in a group that I don't pretend to be that comfortable with the new technology world. I tell them I'm at that age, and those in between who pretend they are really going away from it anyway. Like I say Dr. Delahaye, but I say the over 60 like myself are in one generation. And those between 30 and 60 are in a different generation, but they don't like to accept it, right? And when they get below 30, you begin to get into the real virtual age group, that group which is there to create change. In fact, come to my comments that when I went to China on one occasion not too long ago, I was in Shenzhen, and there was a company that had dismissed every single member of the staff that were 30 and over. They sent them home, retired them, they could find other work. They retired everyone over 30 because the cutting edge of science and thought was in that young age group. And they need to have quality education, quality training in all fields. The science, the software development, computer development, hardware, but in the world of today, as has been evidenced by the work done, this COVID-19 pandemic, the first pandemic for 100 years, which I think many of us have not come to grasp it fully. There's no textbook to deal with COVID-19. If you follow a textbook, you're going to make mistakes. The last one was 100 years ago, quite different situation. But what has emerged out of it, of course, is the biosciences and biotechnology and the role of science and medicine in not only dealing with the challenges, but in creating opportunities for continued growth and development and making humanity not only live better in terms of their quality of life, but in terms of the whole wealth development. And it is an area we can see medical schools, the research associated with it is going to be the way of the future. And it certainly suits us as a small island developing states, because you don't need the old industrial development, you need these large assembly lines, General Motors, aircraft manufacturing, and all that. When you get into software and biotechnology, space is not the issue. The space we need is in the head. Intellect and intellectual property, and the drive for that. So this is it's a cutting edge activity. It's one we welcome as a government, and which I particularly welcome as a representative from Western Jamaica. In fact, the land, although Dr. Murphy resides in the Freeport area and has rights home with his family, the land he has here is in Northwest St. James. So I welcome not only as a member of Parliament, as a member of the government, and the Deputy Prime Minister on behalf of the government, but as a member of Parliament for Northwest St. James, where I see a lot of innovative things happening. We have our challenges, but we have the entrepreneurial spirit, and I know the University of the West Indies, jointly with BIAPRIS, will bring to us now the kind of activity we want, a service in education, to train our people, harness their energy, and develop that enterprising drive that characterizes much of Jamaica into really growing the economy of the area and providing a service to the entire northern hemisphere that is in demand and that can lay the foundation for another kind of growth and development in our country. May I extend to JAMPRO, but in particular to my good friends, the principal of MONA, Dr. Professor Dale Weber and his team, Dr. Lehay, and of course my great friend and citizen friend, family friend in Montego Bay, Dr. Murphy and his dear wife from the BIAPRIS group. May I just say my congratulations, welcome to both of you. And it's a partnership, as they say. If it was human, it was made in heaven. This is a great partnership that I'm sure will see success and really set the stage for a new kind of development and investment in our country. Commendation to you, Dan, for bringing them together. What I said to my two friends, wish you well. Thank you for having me, and welcome again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chang, Minister Chang, Deputy Prime Minister, for sharing with us your vision for not only Montego Bay, but for the economic development of Jamaica. A very stirring and moving and inspiring vision. I just wanted, before we go on with the program, to just recognize and acknowledge the presence online of our minister, that's JAMPRO's minister, Minister Audley Shaw, and our Minister of State, Minister Dunn. I understand they have both joined us online, and we're very pleased to have you because you are both champions of investment, and I know you would have wanted to be here physically today, but unfortunately our numbers and our compliance with national regulations is already stretched, so we were not able to have all the people in the room with us today that we wanted to. So Minister Chang, if we might just prevail on you to witness the signing ceremony, please, and then to answer a couple of questions which have been asked by journalists. So could we ask Dr. Mupuri, Professor Weber, to come and actually do the signing now, Minister? Yes, stand behind. No, you need to sit because you're going to sign. Yes. Looking down, okay.
Thank you very much.
We'll put them together. We'll put them on show.
Your own.
And we'll shake our hands.
Okay. Thank you very much. Dr. Chan, can I just ask you to say a couple of minutes? Sure. Because there are a couple of questions. So I've just prevailed on Dr. Chang to answer a couple of questions which we've received online. One is, Dr. Chang, will the MOU for expansion of medical education and medical tourism take into account the stresses faced by doctors and nurses in the Jamaican health sector, especially at a time when the Jamaican Medical Doctors Association is reporting that the deaths from the COVID-19 are traumatizing and taking a toll on the group's members? I think that's a question that's really more for the government, and in your medical doctor's capacity, you may wish to answer.
As I said, the COVID-19 pandemic is the first in 100 years, and therefore the entire medical fraternity has been challenged to deal with it. And the Mortality is still relatively high, although in Jamaica we are less than 2%, but it affects mainly the old age group, which tend to be fathers, mothers, grandmothers, and family members who has this kind of, have a bigger impact, a lot of big impact. Although they are at an older age, there's, you didn't expect it now, and I've seen quite a bit of it. I went to one funeral recently. There were 12 members of that particular church who had died recently. So when this is happening in the hospital on a steady basis, it does provide a level of not only work stress, but emotional stress on the medical fraternity. But this kind of activity reflects, as I said, not only respect for the capacity of our people in Jamaica and the medical services, but again, when you are faced with a challenge of this sort, you look at where the gaps are and start to fill them, because what we need is more medical services, and medical services designed to deal with what is required today. And this MOU is setting the stage for the university to expand, as it has done before, to take on the modern challenges of medicine in Jamaica, and teaming up with a medical services business grouping that has the foresight and the capital and the connections to build out a strong medical institute which will further expand our services and, so I say, better prepare us for any challenge of this sort in the future. So it is a challenge to the current station, but this, in fact, is showing a way forward to overcome this kind of activity.
Thank you. And there's one other question from our media colleagues online. And perhaps you can answer, and then Dr. Mupuri and Professor Weber, if you also wanted to add your comments. Will this medical tourism focus place any special emphasis on promotion of community health centers as a necessary first contact for patients seeking treatment, given that the Ministry of Health has previously called for citizens to go to their local health centers before seeking treatment at larger hospitals? It's a bit of a mouthful. Did you get that?
Yes, well, primary care is a important part of the medicine. As I said, it's if you have adequate primary care, there's less stress on secondary care and hospital level. But we must also keep our focus that this is still what is being provided here in terms of the MOU is an expansion of medical training, right, as opposed to the services. Certainly we'll have the services attached to the hospital. And if you get the medical tourism, we have to keep our lines straight. Medical tourism, as defined, is really creating a facility that can compete globally and bring international, providing quality medical care that will bring those who can afford to from other countries to work, to have the service done here and pay for it adequately. That's really what medical tourism means. So the community aspect of it is the really icing on the cake. The core part of the business, the tourism is bringing people in. So we have to keep it aligned. It's not a matter of building something to be isolated from the community. It's essentially a training and business venture to provide opportunities for those who wish to get the medical services, whether in North America or in Jamaica, to be trained and to be trained well, right? I think we have to keep it that way.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think you need to leave us. I believe you have another engagement. So thank you very much for your time. We really appreciated it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me go the mic.
And I believe we may have one other question.
Yes. Can we have Professor Weber come up?
Professor?
Somebody demicing.
Yes, we have to demic you.
Yes. I run off.
Yeah.
One of our media partners online, ultimately, is asking what specifically will the UA's input and investment in the project be, and what are the expected returns to the university?
Thank you very much for the question. So the University of the West Indies is always looking for partnerships which will allow it to be better at what we do. Thank you very much, Mr. Chan. As we grow, we clearly would like to expand our reach. Rather than just coming to Kingston to try and get into medical programs, our Western Jamaica campus was built and designed to have a medical program, but it's always been very small. We've been using laboratory settings in what was an old hotel. Here we're trying to expand our footprint. So we're trying to get a better medical system, a better medical school available. Now, you asked earlier about the question of How does it relate socially? Well, social accountability is a big part of the medical faculty, and the dean would like me to stress that as we look at this MOU and our development, social accountability will be a big part of what we decide to do in all our training. Final word, this MOU is very valuable because it actually is a door opener. It has, as one of the lines in the MOU, for us to have a team of equal number of persons from BioPrist and from the UWI sit to nail down what exactly would we want to do and in what sequence. So the MOU doesn't have something that says you must go do this now. It says let's get together. We have a common goal. We've decided that we want to do this together, and here are the first, second, third steps. So we look forward to setting up our committee, the BioPrist committee, and we will have one group who will then articulate what we will do in what sequence. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Professor, and thanks for those last words. We're actually... Oh, we have a question for Dr. Mapuri. Dr. Mapuri, if you don't mind, we have a question for you.
Question for Dr. Mapuri, again from Huntley Medley. It's actually a two-part question. What is the time frame for the completion of the Medical Institute? And the second part of the question, what will be the cost of the build-out and startup of the Medical Institute aspect of the overall project?
Thank you very much, Mr. Medley, for making my question very simple and easy to answer, unlike Professor Weber. We were shooting for September 2021, this fall. Unfortunately, with the delays in the funding and other things related to COVID-related delays, we are looking for February 2021 to open the school, open the doors for the students for the spring 2022. When it comes to the investment aspect of it, the land, buildings, and the amount of money that's going to be injected to invest in technology-driven medical learning, a comprehensive value proposition, we are looking at an approximately $17 million by the time we open the doors for the students, which is going to include the operating budget in it also. I will say very safely $17 million at this moment.
Thank you. Okay, so with those questions, I think we've come to the end of our proceedings. US dollars, 17 million US dollars. So I want to just thank really, really very warmly both of our signees today for bringing this partnership together. And I want to thank our listeners, our audience online, and particularly our media partners who have been listening and who have asked questions which I think are very relevant to what is going on in Jamaica today. We know all the issues of COVID. We know how our track record as a country is going, and we know that if we just keep on doing what we have been doing and respect the protocols, wear our masks, continue to social distance, get vaccinated, we will overcome this. We will come out of this a stronger nation. So just wanted to thank all our esteemed guests online. We had a number of people, unfortunately we can't see you, but we know you are online, and thank you very much for being with us this morning. I think we're opening the door to a totally new era and a new industry. Jamaica has not been strong in the medical tourism industry, although we have all the ingredients to be successful at it. So I think this is really a door opener for us into a new vision and a new opportunity and a new industry, and we really need to seize it with both hands. So congratulations to both the University of the West Indies and BioPrist for signing this MOU this morning and taking the first step towards building this new partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you.